Hello guys, today we're gonna learn the Yager's methods, and for that we are gonna have two metrics. So for this matrix, what it means, this is an alternative, this is another alternative, these are the criteria, okay? For example, this is a car, a product, and this is another product, and these are the criteria. For example, top speed, and maybe a different thing, the car criteria. So we have a criteria and we have two attributes. So for this attribute, not attribute, this alternative has this values at those criteria, okay? So we need another actually matrix. It's a pairwise comparison matrix. So I actually filled it and I'm gonna erase it. So for example, let's fill it again. So in comparison matrix, we have C1, C1, C2, all the criteria in here, all the criteria in here. So, this is an importance table. So, for example, C1 is equal important than C1. C2 is equal important than C2. C3 is equal important than C3. It's 1, 1, 1, okay? So, for the others, for example, C1 is a bit more important than C2. And C1 is very important than C3. And for here, C2 is a bit more important than C3. So I'm placing these values. For example, if it's 5 and my scale is at the top is 5, it means this is the most of the importance than the other to the other. So C1 is very important than C3. Criteria 1 is very important as criteria 3. So if I have this part of the matrix, I can fill that part actually. What am I gonna do in here is just I have I have C1 to C2, and we know that C1 is 3 as a value of 3 important than C2. So C2 is 1 over 3 important than C1. It means the same thing. So for here, we know that C1 is very important. C3 as a 5 value, so it's C3 to C5 is going to be 1 over 5. So for here, what we said about C3 to C2, so let's look at the C2 to C3. So we said it's a bit more important than C3, so it's going to be 1 over 3 in here. So we have that values. So in here, what are we going to do? We are going to actually take the sum of every column in here. So for an example, for here, we are going to do this plus that plus this one. So we have that value. So for here, again, this plus that plus that. For it again, this plus that plus that. So we have 3 values for every column. We have the sums of those columns. So the next, we are gonna do another thing. Actually, we're gonna take every value and divide it by the sum of this column. For example, 1 divided by 1.53 and 0.33 divided by 1.53. For example, it's 1 divided by 1.53 is going to be here. And for example, 3 divided by 4.33 is going to be here, right? Because 3 is in that column. So let's do this. So what are we going to do is we are going to take the value and divide. So in here, I'm going to use the dollar sign because I need a fixed value in here. So it's at the F. And again, I'm placing a dollar and it's at 5th row. So this value is going to be fixed. When I draw it like this, F2 is going to be F3 for here, F3 and F4. And this value is not going to change. It's always going to be F5. So, okay, I'm doing this. So I have all the values. So for here, I'm going to do this again. So I'm going to take this value and divide it by $G5 G and $5. Okay, so I'm taking all the values for here again, this value, and divide it to the h5. So we have all the values, right? Okay, actually these things are normalized version of all this columns. So what we need in here is actually we need the arithmetic mean of every row in here. So let's do this. Let's open a parenthesis and take the first value and plus the second value and plus the third value in the row and divide it to 3. So do this for all of that. So we have every value in here. Okay, so let's continue. So what are we gonna do next is actually and I can continue in here. So I have, remember I have two, I'm gonna write it in here, two actually alternatives, you remember? So I have 3 criteria as C1, C2 and C3. So actually what are we gonna do in here? We are gonna take these values as the power of that values, as you can see in here. I'm gonna show it to you. So I have that value and as power, if I can do this, okay, power is gonna be this. Okay, so what is that? Is that value. So let's continue. For this, C1's weight is gonna be this. This is the C1's weight, and this is the C2's weight, and C3's weight is that. So let's continue. Let's say we have C2's value, this value, this value is gonna be in here. So the weight is C1's weight, this one. So we're gonna fill other parts too. So we are taking the C2's value and the power is gonna be C2's weight. Again for here too, this value and the power is gonna be C2's power, C2's weight. So for this, again, this value and the power is gonna be C3's weight. Again, we're taking this value and the power is gonna be this. So we have these values, right? With no problem. So what we need is we need the minimum value of each column right now. For an example, what is the minimum value in here? Actually, it's the C1. Okay, we're writing C1 in here, and C1's value, actually I can write it not in here, like this spot. C1 has the minimum value of the column, and this is that value. I can just write it this. Okay, this is the minimum value of the column, right? So again, for that part, for that column, what is the minimum value? It's the C1, actually, C1's value. So I'm writing here C1 and I'm taking this value. So we have two things in here. So we are gonna take this from these two values. The biggest value, what is the biggest value?
And for the maximum one, if you could say that, the one on the left is bigger than the one on the right. So one on the right belongs to the second alternative, and one on the left belongs to the first alternative. So if it's bigger at the end, so the first alternative is the best.